Hi, this is Kagi, and welcome to episode 24 of the High Fiber Diet. I changed all the numbers in YouTube just to reflect that this is now the video series. So, yeah, mid-October, and I hope autumn is treating you well. I have a big cup of apple spice cider. Of course, sugar-free. It's one of my favorite autumn drinks, but I drink it year-round if I can find it. I hope you have a cuppa and are ready to settle in. I have a finished object, some works in progress, some stash acquirement, and I will be going into a spinning segment as well. Also have kind of a gadget. So pretty much the normal, and maybe, I don't know, maybe a story or two. So, finished. This is my Felix pullover, done in nightshades in the color Last Call, so it has specks of blue in it. It is a Air Kitty, no. It is a air spun. So it's core spun. It's got a core put into it of multicolors. It is Cormo, and it did soften up quite a bit. I'm able to wear this without anything but my normal undergarments underneath it. So let me stand up. It does come waist length, so I didn't make it too long, and I did do the sleeves just to a 3/4 length right past the elbow. It bloomed nicely when I tried it on before I blocked it. It was rather tight, and I was like, eeks, have I gained that much COVID weight, or have I just, made the wrong size? And neither was the truth. It came out and it fits perfectly. So I'm very happy with how it turned out. And yeah, I knit it on size 10 needles, and I dropped down to a 9 for the ribbing on all the ribbings. You guys know how long it's taken? I want to say it was 2 months to make, might have been a little bit longer, but I did put it aside for a little bit and knit a couple other sweaters in the meantime. So yeah, that's where we are on that. I don't have any other finished objects, but I do have a cat that's playing with the table. Hold on. Okay. These are little Nerf balls, and they come with a gun. Well, we have discovered that Gandalf, come here, this is Gandalf's favorite toy. And he carries them around, and if you throw it, he will most likely retrieve it, bring it back so you can throw it again, because he's a smart kitty. So I'm going to throw it down the hall, and maybe that'll keep them away from the table for a little bit. Works in progress. I have that sock. I've only done a couple rows on it, but yeah, pretty much at the same spot. I think I've done 3 or 4 more rows. So I started working on other items, and the sock kind of got left behind. But I will get it done. It is being housed in my Slip Stitch Studios Namaste Bitches bag. Should say, this is not for little ones, this podcast. So this is their sock bag, or sock plus bag, because it has a pocket in it, and I am using their yarn keeper to hold the half skein, and very much enjoying that. I'm working that up on size 2 needles in Sock Sticks, which is by Lantern Moon, I believe. I might be wrong. I want to say they're Lantern Moon Sock Sticks, but I could be wrong. So I also have that 3 skein shawl done in the Cascade Rustic in the navy color. That's 79% wool, 21% linen. I have almost doubled the length that I had before. You can see the progress keeper there. And I am definitely into the second ball and loving the way it comes up. I did go ahead and tailor stitch around the buttonhole. And I'm going to have to come in with a piece of thread and sew that together. I don't know why it came out big. I have some thread still here on the back that I haven't woven in yet. But the tailor stitch gives it a nice firm buttonhole. And the button should be in the bag with this, hopefully. Yep. And this big button will go through that with just a little bit of resistance. So I know that when it pops out, it's going to be firm on the outside there. And I like the way the speckle goes with the heather of the yarn. Yeah, I'm very happy with that selection. And I'm glad I pulled that back out and I'm getting it done. It was easy car knitting when we went leaf peeping, which I'll talk about in a little bit. That is being held in my, yeah, I don't know who made this bag. That's terrible. Oh, there we go, maybe. Yep, Thank God for Bags bag. That's Thank God for Bags. And it is the What Happens at a Knitting Retreat Stays at a Knitting Retreat. Has a nice handle on it. No inside pockets, I don't think. No. But it does nicely hold 2 big skeins of yarn and the shawl. So it's a nice size bag. Don't know if she's still making bags. That's the problem with me showing bags, is I don't always know who's out there. I don't buy them all that often. So the other thing I had going, and I moved it over to my Erin Lane bags. Knitters Will Keep You in Stitches tote. I needed more room. I have to do 65 of these wedges, and each wedge is 5 of the rotation, so you have 5 going one way, 5 going another way, and so basically I have to have, I think it's 12 of one and 13 of another. And I changed it up that I am not just doing the pattern of wedge 1, where it's the full 5 wedge, 7 colors, but I am interchanging so that everything is done at different rates, but everything is used once in a 7-row repeat. And I've done 1, 2, 3. I think I have 4 different colorways going, and then I started again. So, yeah, still working on that. I weave in the ends as I get to the end of the wedge. So I have these yet to weave in for this wedge, but all of these have been woven in, and the back is looking pretty clean. There's an I-cord on both sides. This is the pattern Westford Wanderer, Stephen West. Yeah. So it's going to be a great big shawl when it's done, and it's going to take some time. So it's going to be an ongoing process while I'm doing other things. I also started another Easy Eyelet yoke pullover, I believe it is, or sweater. It's by Knititude. And, oh, I should say, I went over all of these colors in this. It's CJ Kopak creation. She's no longer dyeing. And I had some Cloudborn, which I don't know if Craftsy is going to come out with their yarn or not. So all of that might possibly be discontinued. This, the Easy Eyelet yoke sweater, I've never been more impressed with a yarn than I am with this. It is called Chainette by Lion Brand. And it is 70% baby alpaca, 18% virgin wool, and 12% polyamide. It is a chain plied yarn. So let's see, can you see that? Does that focus in? And this is in seafoam. It is so light and so airy. And this is my second ball, and I am about halfway through the yoke. What I do normally for necks is I will cast on and then I will knit back and forth for 2 rows before joining in the round to make sure nothing is twisted. So the long tail start. I actually did a twisted loop backwards E cast on for it. I don't believe she tells you how to cast on, but I like this very nice stretchy cast on. And it's not like the backwards E where you have to knit into the back and it's really a pain in the butt. This is a twisted E, so you give it an extra twist when you're putting it on. So it's a short tail cast on. So I left my 6 to 8 inches of yarn before I started, and then I did the number that I needed. But I will take this and I will graph that so that it comes together, and you won't even be able to tell that I didn't have, all of my sweaters have that. This sweater has it, my other ones. If I'm doing top down, that's how I start. If I'm doing bottom up, I do the same thing on the ribbing, unless you have the 2 separate pieces and then you're joining. Yeah, I am doing this. I did have to go up a size on the needles. The last eyelet yoke sweater I did that on a size 10. This one I went up to a 10.5, working on Chiagu needles. And I think instead of the really long sleeves on this one, I'm going to keep it a little bit shorter so that I can wear it over dresses. And I don't like real long sleeves if I'm wearing it over dresses. I like the dress sleeve to peek out. So I also should say I did short rows in the back. The one that I have came out very... You can't tell the back from the front. It's very much the same. It was a full circle yoke sweater. I prefer a higher back so I know what is the back and what is the front. I'm also going to do short rows at the bottom so that I have the dual sized hem. And the only way you can tell is at the very top. You can see that this piece in the back is longer, and I did the short rows up to my collarbones, and then this part is flat, and so the front right here, you can tell that this is a little bit longer than where this is in the front. And I think I did 4, yeah, I did 4 back and forth. So there we go. That is my other cast on. I like to always have a sweater going. Not that I don't have the other sweaters going in the room, just didn't feel like working on them right now. So they're not out here being talked about. This is in my I'm Full of Knit bag that I was given at Knitting in the Mitten 2018. I marked them I mark them with fabric pen. So I need to pause for a second. Okay, sorry about that. The cats knocked the phone off the wall, so I had to pick it up. Yes, we're one of those few that have the landline still. Okay, what next? So I'm going to go into acquisitions, grocery shopping. I have a little bit. Okay, a little bit. This craft or that, I had told myself that I would be able to buy a sweater's worth of her yarn at Northern Michigan Lamb and Wool. Because I bought one skein last year just to try it out to see if I liked it, and this year I was really looking forward to buying it, but that would have happened 3 weeks ago. And instead, I contacted her and said, I want to order a sweater's worth of yarn. So I did. This is in Wood Sprites, and I picked up 5. And this is just amazingly gorgeous. It is a light caramel speckle. And the speckling goes all the way through. Must have been where she tied. But the colors on that are just gorgeous. And I think I might have enough for a weekender. But I'm not sure. I'm not going to hold down to one pattern at this point. I have a couple others that will be knit up before this gets knitted up. And this is this craft or that in Comfy Worsted. And the colorway Wood Sprites. But last year I had gotten Wood Nymph. And this has a little bit of a pink undertone instead of the yellow undertone. And I really love it. It's got the same speckle, the same everything. Well, I have a hat in this one. And I think I want to either make mittens or gloves out of this. It is Comfy Worsted, 218 yards. And just to, not be super matchy, but I am loving the pink undertones of this. So if you haven't checked out this craft or that, yeah, you need to. It's worth it. So that is one. Let me set this down here. From Jimmy Bean's Wool, I noticed that the Knitter's Pride had come out with a new swivel cord that will attach to any, no, that's Mommy's stuff. You don't get to play. You tried to take my yarn. It will attach to any of their yarn, their needles. And I have a bunch of Knitter's Pride needles. And I haven't even opened this yet. I got sweaters links. This one's a 47-inch cord, and this one is a 32-inch cord. But it's unique for a Knitter's Pride in that it has the piano wire that the Chiagu has. So it's got a memory cord. so it's not going to stay kinked. But it also has twisty, so once you put it on and it's secure with the little key, I twist my needles, and I tend to twist hard enough that I will break the little key seal. So I have to retighten my needles every once in a while. Well, I want to try this and see if this being able to spin will help. And I think it might. So they are called the Mindful Collection, and you can get the set or you can get just the cords, and I just ordered the cords. The cords also come with this is end caps and a cord key on each one. They come in a little set. And if I was ordering from Jimmy Bean's Wool out in, I think she's in Reno, I'd go ahead, and I believe they have bought Madeline Tosh. So why not order some samples of Madeline Tosh, which are their unicorn tails. I can make these up into squares or something. But I got 3 colors that I've been looking at. And online, you just never know if the colors are the right colors for you. This one is called Yoko. And it is, I think all of them are the Tosh Merino Light that are the singles yarn. And this first one, Yoko, is fall colors on a cream background. It's got the cadet blue, the oranges, some pinks, some purples. It's just very, very, very. And I'm really loving that one. The next one is called Kitten, because I had to. And it is a brown gray. And it does just look like kitten fur. It's just gorgeous, the depth in that. Now this third one, not so in love with, but maybe knitted up, it might be okay. This is called Caviar Dreams. And this is purples and golds. It's more of a wine color purple. Of course Sarge would be talking to me right now. And I think knitted up, it's going to mottle or muddy a bit with the colors, and so I can't wait to make up a square. And the things that I do with these are I make up the old barn raising quilt square. So they make up to about a 7 to 8 inch square. And these are 52 yards. And I normally knit them up on a size 2. But it is Unicorn Tails by Madeline Tosh, and this color is Caviar Dreams. Let me slide that back in there. The other two wouldn't come off. They're a bit too tight. So I didn't want to just pull that. But I can't wait to see what this knits up to. I don't know that I would wear it, but I don't always knit for me. So those are my 3 unicorn tails and what I got from Jimmy Bean's Wool. From A Winded Fiber Arts. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I got a thin blue line sock yarn. Really love this. Not sure what it's going to grow up to be yet. Actually, I think I got the heavier than sock. I might have gotten worsted DK, something like that. Looks to be heavier. But I love the colors. And then I had ordered, and this took a while to come in, but it was nice, from Sexy Knitter. And she does packaging really cute. She's on Etsy, out of Missouri, I believe. He's talking to me. Sorry, he's deployed, and when he talks, I listen. And it takes a second, and I'm sorry. Have a sip of your cuppa, and he says hello to all of you. If you're new and you weren't listening to the audio, you don't know who Sarge is. He's my husband. He's deployed right now, military. Yeah. But from the Sexy Knitter, I got stitch markers. Did I show these last time? I don't think so. I think I got these after. Now I'm really confused. But anyways, if I showed them, I showed them. There are 4 different colors of little masks. So if I held it up, there you go. And I also got paper origami star stitch markers. I'm told these hold up very, very well. Right now I am working on needles too big to have these. I think these go up to a size 9. Each one has a little bead at the bottom. I believe that's to hold it on the shaft. I don't normally purchase things like this. Some of these things were ordered ahead of time and they just came in this week. So, came in a cute little glass tube that made it through shipping just fine. And again, that was from the Sexy Knitter. And this came from Canada. Whoops. From Wet Coast Wools. I have, I want to say 8 skeins. Might be 9. Okay, kitty. No. He just grabbed yarn off the table. No. I have either 8 or 9 skeins of Madeline Tosh DK, the old DK that was a heavy DK. In what is the red colorway? I'm trying to think. I don't know. It was super popular. It's red with a hint of black. And a new pattern came out. I had already ordered this to go with it. I'm going to be doing DK and the Drops Brushed Alpaca Silk in the Bordeaux colorway. And I was looking online and I didn't know if I was going to do a no frills or if I was going to do something along those lines. But I know no frills, I think, is a fingering held together with the either mohair or alpaca silk. And it just wasn't exactly what I wanted. Then Skein Knits, I saw her latest podcast, and she made the Pure Fuzz. And if you sign up for her newsletter right now, I think it's still going on, you can get the pattern for free. So this is the sweater. I will probably do it a little bit longer because, as you know, I prefer my sweaters a little bit longer. I'm not in my 20s and 30s anymore. I'm in my 50s, so I want to cover up my front and my bum. But it is adorable. And she says that it is using Pickles Pure Wool and Pickles Soft Fuzz. But that is, again, a fingering and an alpaca to bring it up to use one strand of Aran or bulky. Well, what I find is the fingering and alpaca that I've done for like Love Note and things like that, I'm getting about a worsted out of that. And since I'm going to go DK with this, I think it will bring it up to more of the Aran bulky that I can do. Or when I swatch, I'll see which size fits, you know, because I will be swatching for this. But I like the alpaca a little bit better than mohair. Mohair, when I've spun it, has put me into the hospital, or into the ER. But this is pretty much a lot like the mohair. It's just not as floofy, not as sheddy. I guess that's the word, where it sheds and you get it all over you. And I wanted to try the Drops version. Forget what I used before. My blue sweater, what brand that was. But this drop version, this gain's only $5.95. And of course, with Canadian to US dollars changing hands, it's a little bit less than that. So I ordered enough, I believe, to do that sweater. And that's the whole bottom of this. And I think it will go with that. I just haven't found anything. I bought that DK yarn when Sarge was in Afghanistan 2012, I think, because he was there 10, 11, and then he came home May of 11, left again March of 12, and he was there 12, 13. And I believe that I went to Stitches that year in July. Yeah. And that's when I picked up the Madeline Tosh, and it was really, I had to go back both days, Saturday and Sunday, to get, because they had enough out one day, and then it was the same dye lot, but they had some reserved the next day. And I'm like, nope, I need enough for me a sweater. And that's what I did. So I have that. Also from West Coast Wools, because if I'm going to do that, I might as well get a yarn I haven't used before. And that is Flate Sake. Yeah, not, it's in Gloria. It seems to be about the same as what Regia or Opal would be. And I love working with that workhorse type yarn. This is the colorway Gloria. So it's going to knit up in stripes like that, a jacquard stripe. And the name. And I'm liking the apple green and grays, and could be a male or a female sock. So hubby might like that with the greens. I also picked up, because I just finished that, okay, open, thank you. I just finished that Cascade Yarn Heritage print in the, I think it was Patriots was the one that I did before. This one is Boston. So again, a red, white, and blue. I love red, white, and blue socks. I just do. And this is the Boston colorway. So I can't wait to knit that up. So that was what I got from West Coast Wools. Now, the next thing I have to talk about is a little bit controversial. If you were on the interwebs and social media this last week, you saw that a couple dyers said that Hobby Lobby was stealing their yarn ideas. I don't know if that's true or not, and I didn't get in on it, but I heard that there was sock yarn for 15 bucks in colorways that I like. Now, this is what I would call fingering yarn, not sock yarn, because it doesn't have any nylon in it. So right now, and with a 40% off coupon, you know, I didn't spend full price. Though Hobby Lobby doesn't give a military discount like Joann's does. But this one is called Meteorite Delight. 100% merino wool. So I'll probably make it up into a cowl, not socks. This one is called Techno Tribe. Then they had some speckles, and I like them a lot. Now there's two different speckles, and they're two different, you can tell they're two different colors. This one is light, this one has a gray base, this one has a cream base. This one is called Frosted Galaxy. And this one is called Ashen Mist. And then they had a chunky weight, and I really like it. And I think I'm going to do a hat with a palm on it. This one's called In Full Bloom. And this again is 100% superwash merino. No nylon, no nothing. I haven't shopped at Hobby Lobby in a while, just because I never get over there. So it was kind of nice that they've kind of ventured into the hand wash or hand dyed, and it's like a gateway drug. When I first started knitting, I knitted with X, and then I discovered a little bit better at the yarn store, and then I discovered Indie Dyers online. And if this is going to be, you know, the gateway drug to the online experience, it's not bad, because then they're going to search out colors like this. And so I think in my own way of thinking is it's a way to get somebody something else. I just want to try it. I mean, it's merino yarn, it's yarn, I'm going to like it. While I was there, I also picked up a new colorway by Patton's Croy. And what is the color? Eclipse Stripes. Black, white, and gray stripes. So those will become socks. Takes me 2 balls to do full length socks. I can do shorty socks in 1 ball, so it just depends on what I am doing. Now the last thing that I picked up while I was out and about, but you know, ordering online, was my Stanwood ball winder. One of the gears has pretty much strips, so when you're going around, now I have my old Royal and I love my Royal, but the Stanwood needed to be fixed. So they sell the repair kit for the gears, and so I went ahead and I ordered. It's right on their website, stanwoodimports.com. It's out of Chatsworth, California. I used to work in Chatsworth. Right off DeSoto. Let's see. I think the whole thing, you know, less than 20 bucks. When you spend a good amount on the item and then you're able to repair it, this is nice. And it was stanwoodimports.com. I actually contacted him on the site and I said, is this exactly what I need? And he said, this is what I have, this is what you need, this is if you have any problems putting it together or taking it apart or whatever, let me know. Very good customer service, and so I will get my ball winder back up and working. And that one does a very large ball, so I can do my hand spun that goes up to 10 ounces instead of just the 4-ounce one that my Royal will do. Royal doesn't, it does the regular cake size, where the Stanwood will do a great big one if need be. So give me just a second to switch around some of this stuff because I'm going to need this area right here in front. If you saw on one of my minisodes, however you want to put it, I ordered a yarn sampler or 2 from Hearthside Fibers. And I ordered 24 different flavors of breed yarn. So they're breed specific. And I'm going to be doing a process where I talk about them, and then hopefully before the next episode, now that I have one of my wheels completely empty of yarn, before the next episode have these spun up. They are approximately 25 grams, and it gives a little bit of information on each of these. The ones that I'm going to talk about today is Teeswater Top and North Ronaldsay, or Say. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing this one correct. I've heard of Teeswater, but I have not spun it. I have the book In Sheep's Clothing, and I also have In Sheep's Clothing is by Nola Foreigner and Jane Foreigner. Nola is a master spinner in New Zealand, a land where sheep and wool are preeminent. Her daughter Jane now makes the United States her home and holds a certificate of excellence in hand spinning. Nola and Jane are partners in the New Zealand Journey, a 17-day tour of Woolcraft Festival, working sheep stations, and more wool than you ever dreamed possible on their spectacular North and South Islands. You can find out more information, and I don't know if they're still doing it because this is ages old. www.newzealandjourney.com. So there's information here. This was an Interweave Press book. Of course, the Interweave Press is no longer around, but that doesn't mean the books aren't good. At least I think it's Interweave Press that went away. Now I'm doubting myself. This was published in '95. It's a pretty old book, but the information's still good. This one, the Fleece and Fiber Source Book, is from Deborah Robeson and Carol Icarius, I believe it is. And this book came out after I had started spinning. '11. and part 1 is sheep, oodles and boodles of wool. My way of talking. This was, let's see, the forward on this. Knitters, spinners, and weavers love the softness of merino wool and the luxurious warmth of cashmere, but these fibers are just the beginning of the story. The Fleece and Fiber Sourcebook provides a fascinating look at more than 200 animals and the fiber they produce. In the merino sheep family alone, you'll find entries for 14 distinct breeds, and it goes on and on and on. I have these marked with both because both have different information. So let's get into this. This is going to be the breed study part, and then next episode I'll show you the spinning and what I have. Now the information that I have on this right now is Teeswater top, country of origin England. It's 40 to 60 microns, so the smaller number of microns, the softer it is. Staple length is 150 to 300 millimeters, which is 6 to 12 inches. So I'm going to just reach in, pull off. You're going to see, or I don't know if you can see, the staple length is the crimp length. So you can, there's no crimp on this. It is a very straight, and if I take it end to end, I want my apple cider away from where all the fur is. So if I go end to end, there we go. We're talking yay much on the same fiber. So that's a pretty good staple length. It's a long wool. So that is all the information on this that I got from the supplier. Now the books gives me, this is Teeswater top. I believe that's the front one on this one. Yes. Teeswater is a Leicester long wool. It resembles the Wensleydale in appearance and fleece type. The Teeswater is generally thought to be more suitable for meat production than the Wensleydale, and is used extensively to cross with other breeds, such as Swaledale, Dalesbred, and Rough Fell, to produce the Massam yarn, and Massam is M-A-S-H-A-M. Teeswaters have light gray fleeces with darker maltings on their noses and legs. They have curly forelocks. Both sexes are polled. I believe polled means no horns. It is a finer long wool and has good luster, and they form a mass of small curly locks, but when washed falls straight. A fleece weight is generally 7.5 to 15 pounds, and it's found in the United Kingdom. This is what it looks like straight off the sheep pre-washing. Once it is combed, it's normally that. So this was completely combed into top and has probably been, yeah, there's no crimp in this one. So I will be spinning this up. That is what it says in Sheep's Clothing. Is there any more information in the Fleece and Fiber Sourcebook? They go a little bit more in depth. Teeswaters have never made an entry into the North America, or if they did, they left no trace. Today's group of breeders on the western side of the Atlantic is working on developing a breed through a system called upbreeding and upgrading. They are using imported semen to crossbreed ewes of other long wool breeds, as in it's fading out. It's a conservation breed. They're trying to bring it back. On paper, Teeswater and Wensleydale wools can be described with similar numbers. The Wensleydale may grow a heavier fleece, while the Teeswater is considered to have an edge in meat production. We already said that. If spun correctly with a light-weighted silk, it is perfect for lace weight. The dyeing process, the fleece makes brilliant colors because of the luster. And yeah, I think that's about it on that. It goes into Wensleydale after that. So there is information here. I've used this book quite a bit, and I have markings in the front. There's a journal on what breeds I've done and everything. So that is their pictures. So that one will get spun up. And I won't do more than 2 in a week because I have other spinning I like to get to. So the other one that I'm going to do is a North Ronaldsay. I have never spun this yarn or this fiber. Never even heard of it. It is country of origin is Scotland or the Orkney Islands. No, do not get on my table. It is about 30 microns. So this one was 40 to 60, so this one's going to be a little bit softer. And staple length is only 1.5 to 3 inches long. So this is a shorter wool. It looks to be dual fleece because there's 2 colors and you can see guard hairs in it. If you look, let's see if it can get, yep. The darker would probably be the guard hairs and the shorter is the actual fleece. When I pull this out, you can see that there's a lot of crimp in that. Very fuzzy. Straighten out. That's the break point. So this one is about, if stretched, I'm not doing it stretched, about 2 inches. He wants to be on the show. Yes, lay down. No, do not eat mommy's computer. No? No. So what is this going to tell me about the North Ronaldsay? Come here. In Sheep's Clothing book, it says this tough, hardy breed is well adapted to its native home, the Orkney Islands, northeast of Scotland. It is considered to be characteristic of Iron Age domestic sheep. So it's a historical sheep, to represent the ancestral stock from which modern Shetland breed evolved. Now, I've spun Shetland, so that's interesting. These small, fine-boned animals have short tails and have come in a variety of colors, including gray, white, black, and brown. Although sometimes contaminated with sand if the sheep have been grazing in the seashore. The fleece is good quality and used for specialty knitted garments. The fleece weight is normally 3.5 to 5.5 pounds. Fiber diameter, that's the grits. And staple length is 1.5 to 3 inches. So that is what we have there. Found in the United Kingdom. What does the Fleece and Fiber source book say? Okay. 10 miles or 16 kilometers from the north coast of the Scottish mainland lies the archipelago, guess that's an island, island set of 70 islands called the Orkney. The largest island is about 202 square miles. The smallest is less than 1/10 of a square mile. North Ronaldsay, the northernmost island in the chain, is one of the larger islands, even though it is just 2.7 square miles. At the high point, this spit of land rises a mere 54 feet above the waters of the North Sea. For an odd comparison of landscapes, the Isle of Herta, now home to St. Kilda's Say sheep, is about the same size at 2.6 square miles, yet Herta has 3 peaks that rise from the water in cliffs that are more than 1,300 feet tall. Okay. In the early 1800s, the residents of the island made a good bit of their livelihood by burning and drying an abundant seaweed that covered the shores and sending the iodine-rich kelp and ash south to England. But when the kelp industry waned, the residents had to return to subsistence farming. In 1832, to maximize the production from their limited uplands, they built a 13-mile-long, 6-foot-high dry stone wall around the island and placed their rugged little sheep outside the wall. These sheep had always consumed a good bit of seaweed, but once banished to the shore, they had to survive almost exclusively on the seaweed diet. How sad. Today, the island boasts a human population of only 60, who largely make their living from tourism, from lighthouse and communication system operations, and from the island's other residents, the extremely independent North Ronaldsay sheep. So they get their fleece. Here's what the little sheepies look like. They get their fleece from eating seaweed. Aren't they cute? It is an ancient sheep breed that have access today. The sheep date back to the early history of domestication, frequently called the Iron Age, about 1200 BCE. They are a close relationship to the sheep in the Stone Age village of Saka Bray on mainland Orkney, which dates back to 3000 BC. So that's pretty cool. Lot characteristics is wide bases with double-coated fleeces. Crimp varies. The undercoat tends to have a fine, even crimp. Most are white with a little bit of gray mixed in and coarse black guard hairs. And that's what I was saying, is we've got the guard hairs in that. I don't know if I'll pull them out or if I'll just spin it. It just depends on how it spins. Sometimes you pull them out. Depends on how soft they are. It takes dye wonderfully because of the 2 different colors. Normally with it's like a dark brown egg. When you do an egg that's brown instead of a white egg, you get more vibrant colors, kind of like that. And this looks to be roving instead of top because it's all mixed together. Top is like spaghetti coming out of the box. Roving is like spaghetti that's already been cooked. So, yeah. Top is normally produced for a worsted spin, and you're going to forward draw. That's how I'm going to try and do this Teeswater. If I can't do the Teeswater that way, I will put it over the fold, where I will fold it and then spin from the folded part over my finger. And then this North Ronaldsay is, like I said, it looks like a roving instead of a top because it's all mishmashed, as you can see. And it just depends. I may try to modify long draw it or something. So I will talk about that more next week. I'll take notes and explain exactly what I will be doing. But it is a Northern European short-tailed family of sheep. So these are the first 2 that I will be doing, and I will talk more about them next week, and the next 2 that I'll be doing. Excuse me. Did I get everything on the table? I think I did. And I think that leads us into Gadget Corner. And Gadget Corner is something that you might like with Halloween coming up. We got into Hunt a Killer. last year. And it is a subscription-based detective. You can make it as big a thing as you want or as little a thing as you want. Comes in 6 boxes per game, or you can buy the whole thing. We've done 2 of the games. I want to say this is box 3 or 4. I'm not sure. But life happened, and then COVID happened, and we weren't able to get together. At the time that we were doing them, they would come in monthly. I'd pay the subscription box. We'd go over to Bear's house, him and his wife, and me and Sarge would get together, and we'd order pizza for everybody so that everybody had something to eat, and we'd have a glass of wine, and we'd sit down and we'd do detective. Well, you get the layout of the mystery at the beginning in box 1, and basically you become the police detective that is going to figure out who did what. And it is internet interactive, but it's also, we built a big, we got one of those trifold boards, and we have it all, here's these people, and each time that you get a box, you get new clues and new things. So each time you get a box, you eliminate one person from the suspect list. And it's a whole story that goes along with it. And as soon as we can, we're going to start doing it again because I have the complete series down. I want to say the whole thing, it sounds expensive, but do think that it's split over 6 months. But it's about $150 for the full thing. And, but that's, if we chip in and if we spend 2 to 3 hours in a 6-month period, 2 to 3 hours per month, and you break it down, it's really not as much as, you know, going to the movies for a family of 4. And you got 4 to 6 or 8 people, and you can, what we do is it comes with its file case for each, and then I copy that, I scan it and print it. So everybody has the information in front of them, and then we discuss and we, hey, what about this? And hey, what about that? And then in the end, we come to a conclusion on which person we should eliminate as a suspect or which one we think could be the main one. Now, you can't guess the main one until box 6, but you get little clues each time, and it could change your mind. So it's nice to have, we have a journal-like thing that we keep, and we're like, okay, this is what we did this month, and this is the one we eliminated. You go online, and you can say, is this the right one to eliminate? And it'll say, try again, or it'll say, yes, that person has been eliminated. In the next box, they may talk about that person, but they're not focused on that person because they have, and there's only one you can eliminate each time. I think there's one box that you eliminate 2, but we haven't gotten there yet. And it is really fun. It is from huntakiller.com. It's out of Maryland. Let's see if I can do this without showing off my address. So that's huntakiller.com. And yeah. And hey, I just saw what I forgot to talk about. But take a look at this. If you're into something, you know, what can I do? Stay at home. You can also do it, I've seen people do it through Zoom, where each person gets the box set. And yeah, it's pretty cool. And then you talk amongst yourselves. The other thing that I got this time, I had seen this on, I have no idea what website, but it is this little ring. And it's a little peacock or phoenix or whatever you want to call it. I'm calling it a phoenix because, you know, right now I'm reading Order of the Phoenix, but it is made for yarn. When you are crocheting, you put it on your finger wherever you normally hold your yarn. See see if I have a yarn ball that is not attached to something. And you slide your yarn through and it holds it, and if I'm crocheting, I'm holding the yarn in this hand and I'm crocheting with this hand. Well, it makes it so that we can work together. Of course, this would be the working yarn, not the tail like I put it through. So it would probably be put through this way. So it is more working yarn. And you just crochet and you have a tensioner without having to wrap it around your finger or whatever. And this is adjustable, so if you want less tension or more tension. I think it ran like 12 bucks, but you know me and gadgets. So thought it was pretty cool. So if it comes up in your news feed on Instagram or something, fits right on my pinky as a regular ring. I don't know if I'll ever use it, but it's kind of cool. And it's a story. I haven't tried it with crochet because I'm not crocheting anything this week. Well, I did start my long cardigan. I just didn't get more than that much done. And I apologize for all my dingings today. When Sarge is gone, I kind of have to keep the phone on. And yeah, I guess that's it. Enjoy your weekend. And this should have been Rhinebeck weekend. I guess you would classify this then as my Rhinebeck sweater. Watch for any sales that might be going on, and I'll get this uploaded as quick as I can. Until next time, check your checkbook before starting the high fiber diet. Bye-bye.